By Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I mean, everybody wants to get double-digit sacks, but for me, I just want to be a total, complete football player. I want to be able to stop the run because we can't rush the pass without stopping the run, and once we do that, then that allows us out of the quarterbacks. But I mean, like I said, I just want to come out here and be the best overall player that I can be every day.
Play fake again. Flacco gets hit this time, and he's going to get sacked. Trayvon Walker got him in the backfield. Second sack of the day for Trayvon. He got him back at the 46-yard line.
I feel like, the sky's the limit for me. I'm just scratching the surface of my potential. And I'm just, me being on the field is what's going to allow me to reach my potential. So that's my focus.
Mills pass is intercepted. It's Tyson Campbell with his second interception of the season.
What up, y'all? It's DeJuan Smoot. I'm back. Smoot Gang is back. What up, Jags fans? Let's get it. Hey, get a Duval on 1, 2, 3. Duval! Let's go.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Hey, for once we're not lying. We're all here. How about that? Welcome in, everybody. Fresh week of Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. Tony, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well.
How were things? How was your vacation?
It was good.
Yeah?
Didn't do anything. That was nice.
Okay. You have a good Father's Day. See your dad?
Didn't see my dad. Did speak to him, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day.
All right.
To all the dads.
Happy Father's Day,
yeah.
Dad. Man, we're on to next year.
Oh, it's kind of how dads work.
I'm with you, bro.
He wanted to watch the golf. Enjoy the golf.
We don't need, I heard somebody talking about, gifts and stuff like that for father. I don't need any. Don't give me any gifts. We gave my father-in-law some M&Ms, because he's probably not supposed to be eating them.
Right.
He's
get away with it every now and then, yeah.
Kind of on a strict diet at this point, but go nuts, man. You're 85, bud. You want that big bag of peanut M&Ms? Have at it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm
the
not
U.S.
standing in your way.
Open Sunday being Father's Day.
It was awesome.
It's that's the way it should be.
I played golf. I played well. I had a nice bounce back round. It was good. Very solid. Didn't hit a ball all week because my elbow's been killing. I got golfer's elbow, man. But played well, came home, watched it. If Victor Hovland does not hit his approach shot 2 feet behind J.J. Spawn on 18, is J.J. Spawn making that putt? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Now, he's probably still going to two-putt it and win the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But to make it, I mean, the fortune you have to have him give you the read on the speed and the line like that in that moment.
I do. The U.S. Open, I don't want to see that every week.
Right, I want to see it once a year, though. I like
once a year where they set up a golf course to basically bloody all these the best of the best in the world.
Well, now you know how we feel.
It's so great.
Come on.
And then the rain coming down over the weekend. It's like if they get in the rough, they're never getting out.
Never getting out. Don't hit it there. Terrell Hatton.
Right.
We hit it there. We get mad, too. Don't think I've never had that downslope lie I wish it had rolled into the bunker.
For sure. But it's nice. Once a year to watch it happen to him. It's fun.
Hey, I thought, look, J.J. Spawn, all I got to say to you, buddy, save some of that for the Ryder Cup.
No
all right?
doubt.
I don't need to have you going 2-1 in the Ryder Cup now.
Yeah.
All right, U.S. Open champ. Sawgrass runner-up. Let's go, baby. Need to see some of that 64-foot putt droppage when it matters for the good old U.S. of A. Good morning, Dylan Denmark.
What's up, Mike?
How was your
Father's
weekend?
Day. It was good.
Thank you.
Watched, I think I watched about 6 hours of golf every day from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's not all you did this weekend.
No, let's see.
Karaoke?
A little karaoke. I played Lil Wayne, his song Love Me.
Okay.
The song starts, I'm on that Good Kush and Alcohol, if you know that song. You don't know that song?
The Good Kush.
Yeah.
Is there the Bad Kush?
I don't know. I don't
okay,
know that much
I was just wondering. I'm not aware of what you're
Lil Wayne probably hadn't had to go to the bad cushion a long time.
No, probably hasn't.
Yeah, he probably knows a lot more people.
He probably got a good hookup, you're saying?
Yeah, something. Or two.
All right, but you discovered Mr. Outdoorsy Dylan Denmark, Mr. Florida boy, Florida man, okay? Dylan Denmark. He's just my golf son. He's not a boy, though. He's a grown man. You're out there. You're coaching. You're golfing. You're in the great outdoors all the time. What did you discover about yourself this weekend?
I cut grass on the weekend sometimes to, make a little extra cheddar. And I think I'm allergic to grass now, which is
now
so weird.
Like a new thing?
Yeah, like I've cut grass my whole life, and I've never been really itchy or seen like bumps on my hand or like my hand started turning red a little bit. And it happened Saturday. I'm like, yeah, this ain't good. So I go home immediately, shower. I'm good. Then I cut grass yesterday. It happened again, but a little worse because the grass was a little thicker. So I can't wear short shorts no more. I gotta start wearing these long pants. Yeah, like the 1980 NBA.
Is that where you were rocking?
No,
out there?
I mean they were a little short on me. They're about halfway up my thigh. Yeah.
All right.
But I gotta start wearing pants and
long sleeves, man.
Yeah.
It's way too hot to be doing that.
Well, the long sleeve shirt's not that bad because they get it now, like the material.
You can
it's
get
like
that
paper
light stuff.
thin.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right. Well,
yeah. So if anybody
survived.
has any suggestions on what to do when you're allergic to grass, when you got to cut grass,
it is weird. People do get allergies develop as your life goes on. You know what I mean?
Well, I've had them since birth, so allergies are bad.
You have the grass allergies since birth?
Not that grass allergies. Like the pollen, when that hits me, like
isn't
really,
everybody
really
allergic to pollen though? Like, isn't pollen just an irritant that gets up your nose and you're like, yeah, that's gonna make me no matter what it is? I don't know. Could be wrong.
If you're going to hang out outside, there's a season around here where you're going to deal with the pollen.
I hope everybody had a nice Father's Day. Yep. Whether you watch U.S. Open, you watch your favorite sporting event over the weekend. We had NBA Finals. We got the Stanley Cup playoffs. We got baseball. We got all kinds of stuff happening right now. We got Jaguar stuff today, Tony, and you're right back into the fray. Let me ask you, I do think, I don't want to overplay it, but I don't want to just brush right past it. I think the most telling comment we've heard from Liam Cohen this offseason was when he talked about Anton Harrison last week. And when he said he can go when he wants to go, there's a pretty clear implication that means he doesn't always want to go, or else you just say, man, this guy's like the Energizer Bunny. He's always go, go, go. When he brings it every day, he plays at a high level. If you're Anton Harrison, this seems like something within your control, but should he be concerned at this point in time for his standing as the right tackle on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, it's hard to know, in that kind of circumstance, if the coach is just trying to come up with something to say about a player and it comes out and he's like, even right after he says, is like, man, I didn't want to say it that way. Right? Like you never really know if it's one of those moments or if it's just one of those you see through whatever fog is up, in these typical situations where they would give you nothing and instead he says he goes when he wants to go. And that you're getting the bottom line reality of how the coach feels about a player. It's hard to know exactly where to land on that kind of thing. But if I was Anton, regardless, it would be, all right, I got to go.
But, the fact that I would hope that this isn't the trigger for it, but clearly there needs to be one, right? Like, you would think, new coaching staff, I didn't have a great year last year.
Sure.
Most people feel like I took a step back. He knows what his own personal film evaluation is. He should have been going from day one.
Right. It feels more like an accumulation of whatever the conversations with Anton have been to this point between the new coaching staff and him on the field with everything that's gone on to this. That feels like more of a summary of where they're at, right? With Anton Harrison, which is, it's not surprising. I'm not disappointed if the coaching staff's going, we need more. Where's the guy that was here his rookie year improving on top of that?
Right.
Where is that guy? That's why you were a first-round pick. That's what everyone expected last year. We didn't see it. You got to go now. Right? Like, I want that to be the message in the building for Anton. So if that's the message in the media when they get asked about it, I'm a fan of it. If it gets him back to the level he was at his rookie year and beyond, because it's in him to be a better player than he was last year, they need him to be that guy right now, not tomorrow, right now.
Keep that in mind for tomorrow in particular, as tomorrow's Tuesday Top 5 already looking ahead. It's going to be top 5 starting jobs on the line heading into training camp for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's then. Today, we're looking at the running back room. We asked a question, I don't know, a month and a half ago, something along those lines, about which running back out of the top 4 on the depth chart would score the most rushing touchdowns for this team. And Tank Bigsby won that poll.
Yeah.
Today, we're just going to ask you which of those 4 running backs is going to start the most games. And I'll list them in order of the way I think of them in the mental depth chart right now. Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Bajal Tootin, LaKent Allen. We listed them alphabetically on the Twitter poll. So just a matter of how many games you think they'll start, not necessarily be the most effective or have the most yards or the most catches or whatever, just the most starts for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, you got to be effective to some degree to keep that role and keep getting those opportunities. But we'll get into that a little bit today over at Sports Illustrated, SI.com. 32 teams in 32 days. Today was the Jacksonville Jaguars Day, so you can check out there. You've got a lot of fresh Jags coverage over at Shipley's shop there at SI.com. CBS Sports has the best and worst case scenarios for every NFL team in 2025. That includes, of course, your Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll take a look at that as we go along today. If you'd like to be a part of the program, welcome Tony Smith back to the fold. On the Checkmate Coatings phone lines, you can give us a call at 904-641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat and post your thoughts there. And always on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
I need some Girl Scout cookies.
You need some long pants, apparently, is what you need right now. Don't worry about the Girl Scout cookies, although you probably made enough money mowing those lawns to buy all the Girl Scout cookies you want.
I got to have them cookies, baby.
I understand. All right, Dylan Denmark is here. Tony Smith is back. I'm Mike Dempsey. Welcome into a fresh week. This is Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Simply the best in the biz. Why go with anybody else but the top of the line? Consumer Reports will tell you that Pella ranks number 1 in all the major window categories, and right now you can upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by their showroom. It's right there on Phillips Highway, just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust, savings you can't miss. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Dream Finders Homes Monday on Jaguars Today. Feel the downforce of 100 horses.
You see him shaking as he goes down Long Pond straightaway.
This Sunday at Pocono Raceway, NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Leon Searcy here. There's a little bit less of the big fella right now, thanks to physician-guided weight loss. I'm down 15 pounds in just 2 months. Already feeling better than I have in years. And with no side effects using their GLP-1 prescription. Gotta admit, it's pretty easy. And right now, you can get the first month at just $90 with a visit, the meds, and the 3D body scan. Don't wait to bring sexy back. Get started now with physician-guided weight loss at pgweightloss.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
I-9 Sports is geared up for fun for kids all over the First Coast with summer and fall registration now open. Kids ages 3 to 17 can get in the gym or on the field with I-9 Sports, covering Clay, Duval, St. John's. And I-9 has all-girls flag football at Oakleaf, UNF, Fletcher, and Creekside. Plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Registration now open for summer and fall at I-9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Get closer to nature.
Trying to get close to these bucks out here.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Walls. The Nimnicht Outdoor Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning, 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single-game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision. I love it.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
If a birthday or anniversary is looming in your immediate future, take care of it today by ordering a floral arrangement online at CuneFlowers.com. You'll be the star of their day. This is Frank Frangie. Take it from me. An arrangement from Cune Flowers works like magic.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Mike Wilmer.
Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, gang's all back together. Tony Smith is in. This will last for another 4 days after today. Tone, Dylan and I both out next week.
Mm-hmm.
Denmark, or are you going to Denver?
Yes, sir.
So
see some mountains.
There you go. I'm going to Hilton Head to, I don't know, see a pool, basically.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. Couple of restaurants, things like that. My wife loves it up there, so we'll do that whole thing. And Tony's back, but then you got another vacation coming up in July because it's that time of year.
Yes, it is.
You know, get them in before training camp. Tony and I pretty much, once training camp starts, don't take a whole lot of time off.
No.
That's just how it goes. We've got one thing to focus on, and we're going to give you as much attention on the Jaguars as you can possibly stand out there, including look at today's Tony SI story, 32 teams in 32 days.
Mm-hmm.
They went with the Jaguars today, and the headline, Liam Cohen charged with getting the most out of Trevor Lawrence. No disputing that whatsoever.
No.
I mean, that is That is the top of the list. It's interesting. If you look over, we'll start, I guess, at CBS, because they did a quick thing on best and worst case scenarios for every team this year. Let me scroll down to what they had for Jacksonville. The best case scenario, obviously, you would think winning the AFC South, which is not super loaded, and that's what they'll tell you. Best case, Trevor Lawrence finally feels at home with Liam Cohen calling the shots, and Travis Hunter joining Brian Thomas Jr. out wide, and the Jags capitalize on a weak AFC South by pouncing to the top of the division. I feel like they're saying the best case scenario is they win the division only because it's a weak division, right? They're not still enthralled with your Jaguars. I think the best case is, and I'm not saying they'll reach the best case. That's why it's called the best case.
Right.
It's unlikely that you get to the best case. Best case is probably 12 or 13 wins. Honestly, everything clicks. Liam Cohen and James Gladstone, Tony Baselli have brought in the right offensive linemen, and they can actually run the ball and keep defenses off balance. And Trevor Lawrence adapts to the new offense quickly with the help of the running game. Is a lot more comfortable. He's got that weapon in Travis Hunter. De'Ami Brown's been getting a ton of targets. We know Brian Thomas Jr. is a special player, and that's just on the offensive side. Yes, winning the division is part of a best case scenario, but I feel like this is like, well, they could win the division if everybody collapses and they could sneak in at like 9-8.
Yeah, there are kind of grades to it, right? Like, I think the other three divisions in the AFC, like the best case scenarios are going to be competing for the 1 seed, right? Like whoever they expect to win, those divisions are going to be competing for the win. It would be Buffalo and,
I think, if it's Buffalo, yes.
And Kansas City.
Yes.
And whoever, Baltimore, right? Like
Sure.
it's going to be competing for the 1 seed. So Jacksonville, I don't disagree that I do think best case scenario is more, they win 12 or 13 games. I think that is kind of if you're reaching for what is the top of what they could do, I don't think that's going to be enough to be the 1 seed necessarily in the AFC. I think that probably puts you very much as the 2.
2 or 3,
yeah,
right. I
2 or 3. But right. I think it speaks to, look, the AFC South has been what the AFC South has been. And it's been a division now for a while where 9 or 10 is what's going to get you home. Right? In the AFC South, I don't know that I ultimately expected the bar to be raised all that much by whatever the 4 teams are going to do in the division this year. I'm not going to be surprised when the AFC South winner wins 10 games, right? But I do think when you're talking about best case scenario, it is 12. And it's kind of the same thing with Houston. It's win 12.
Yeah. Not saying either one is going to do that.
No.
But the best case, I think, is a little bit higher than what they're talking about here.
I would agree.
I think best case, look, obviously best case is you win the Super Bowl, right? But, realistically, you win and advance in the playoffs, I think would be a really strong season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Win your division, advance in the playoffs with a victory. Worst case scenario, again, according to CBS, they went through every single team. Cohen proves out of his league as a head coach. Travis Hunter struggles to translate his two-way gifts to the NFL stage, and Trevor Lawrence still can't control the rock as Jacksonville remains an offensive laughingstock. That's pretty strong imagery right there, which
that would be worst case.
They're saying right now that they are an offensive laughingstock, and quite frankly, I mean, it's not like they're a comedy of errors. It's just a comedy of ineffectiveness, or a string of ineffectiveness. They don't score enough points. We know that. They can't run the ball when they need to run the ball, when it's winning time, or when it's a tough, gain 1 or 2 yards on 3rd or 4th down type situation. They can't consistently win those. At least they haven't been able to. So I'm not upset by the laughingstock thing. No. I don't think they're, though, like, it's not like, they threw 35 interceptions last year, and it was just ridiculous blowout after blowout. This was a competitive team that couldn't find a way to win most of those close games last year. So, obviously you got to turn that around. Looking in the division, Indianapolis, best case scenario, Anthony Richardson finally pairs his supersized athleticism with smarter, sharper passing, also remaining on the field long enough to confirm Indy has a dynamic quarterback of the future on the roster. That, to me, based on what we've seen and the fact that he's injured right now and won't be ready until training camp, is a longer shot than the Jags winning the division, I think, at this point in time. Worst case scenario, neither Richardson nor Daniel Jones can hold the job for more than a few games at a time. the culture left to face a teardown without premium draft positioning under their new ownership now that Jim Irsay has passed away. So that's Indy. Best case scenario for Houston, C.J. Stroud rediscovers his rookie year authority with a fresh play caller and more help for Nico Collins out wide. DeMeco Ryans' defense scares the rest of the NFL en route to another early round playoff win. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that, it's somewhere in that range. Worst case scenario for Houston, Ryan's defense now featuring C.J. Gardner-Johnson proves incredibly undisciplined, and Houston's dependence on aging, banged-up vets like Nick Chubb and Christian Kirk leaves Stroud flailing in a losing season. Can we add Cam Robinson to the mix?
Yeah.
Still, I don't know if he's banged up.
Let us hope. Yeah.
And then finally, Tennessee, best case scenario and worst case scenario for the Titans. Best case, the big play bravado of rookie Cam Ward coupled with savviness from vets like Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett launches Tennessee into wild card territory out of the wide open AFC South. So the Jags are going to stumble to a division title only because the division is weak, but Tennessee's going to get in as the second team in the AFC South. Worst case, Ward is splashy, but just as reckless as predecessor Will Levis, once again forcing Coach Brian Callahan to produce answers he doesn't have.
Bar.
Right, and Tennessee's occasionally scrappy defense can't pick up the slack. Right, Look, I think the worst case for all these teams is I don't know if Houston, if they're barring a wave of injuries, worst case, everybody gets wiped out, then you're gonna have a terrible season. I get it. I don't think Houston's worst case is much worse than like 7 wins. And that's worst case scenario. So I think they should be looked at as the favorites in the division. Not that the Jags can't take them down. Funny, though, that they think that Tennessee could possibly get in as the second team out of the South. We'll see what Byron thinks about that. We'll get to the SI 32 teams in 32 days. Focus on the Jaguars coming up here in a minute. Byron in Gainesville going to lead off the week on Jaguars Today. Good morning, big man. How are you?
Good morning, guys. First, just want to say happy Father's Day to you guys. And
likewise.
Late. And, man, I just love to hear those. Dylan started that show with those players. It just seemed like a different attitude. And I'm going to do this for I think his name is Dwayne Smoot. But Smoot, brother. 1, 2, 3.
Duval. It's Dewan, Byron. It's okay. It's that's how he pronounces it. It's a kind of a weird spelling, but I don't know if he needed the countdown on that or the count up to it, but he gives a good Duval. There's no doubt about that.
Man, little players that come back with that want and enthusiasm. And I just wanted to say a shout out to Miss Regina last week calling. I love her calls and enthusiasm. And guys, just real quick, talking about the running game, I'm going to put Tanks Bigsby in for mine because I just been rooting for him. And I think because this year, and it seems just our theme, has been the offensive line and the running game. And I think that could really make a big change next year in some games. Just cold games and rainy games and just taking pressure off of Trevor. So, that's my shot that I think the offensive line going to have a different attitude because I think it's going to be a focus to run the ball. You were talking about the offensive line and some of those guys.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get a different kind of meanness. If you don't, you're going to get cut. So I think they're going to have a new walk, a new talk, a new attitude. Go Jags!
All right, Byron. He's got Tank Bigsby leading the way. It's a two-way battle, really. I mean, it's basically in the order that I listed him initially, right? Travis Etienne pulling in the most votes, and that's the thing. If you assume he's here, he's probably the likely opening day starter.
Yeah.
Does he hold that job, Tony? And does he, is he here? Do guys like Tank Bigsby, who was getting some first-team reps at times during, practices recently, do Bajal Tootin push and show that they're capable of being trusted with ball security, quarterback protection in the preseason? Maybe not. I think the best bet is that Etienne is here, but I don't think it's written in stone that he's here. And it could be a case that he also gets dealt during the season if the Jags season isn't going a particular way, because he'd be the most likely guy to go in the last year of his deal. If a team has an injury at running back, something along those lines, and that can affect what happens here. Bajal Tootin getting about 9% of the vote. 1.3% of people are trolling today and say LaKent Allen is going to start the most games. I'm hopeful he's a very impactful player for this team, but I think it'll mostly come on third down if and when it does in 2025. So anyway, vote on that if you haven't already at MD_1010XL. When we come back, Tony and I'll dig into 32 teams in 32 days. The big questions that Sports Illustrated has for your 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars. That's straight ahead. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey telling you to reach for the top. The Apex Roofing and Contracting right here in Jacksonville Beach. Simply the best you're going to find if you need some work done on your roof. If your roof's got damage, leaks, it's just plain worn out. Don't wait. Apex is local, dependable. They're going to show up on time using only the highest quality materials with ironclad warranties. They don't take any shortcuts. They're not going to stress you out. You can trust Apex Roofing and Contracting. Reach for the peak. Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach, or just simply visit online at apexroofingfl.com.
Above Gotham looms its greatest hero. We're not a superhero. We're the Superstation.
Who are you? Oh, sorry.
1010XL.
The bat signal is not a beeper.
92.5 FM.
I just like the sound of it.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
Hey, this is Coach Jason Gibson of your Jacksonville Sharks. I know the importance of a strong game plan, and that's exactly what I've got with Clay Solar Installation Partners. They did the install of the solar panels at my house, and I couldn't be happier. Lower energy bills, clean power, and a winning team that made the whole process easy. If you're looking to save money and go solar, trust the pros at Clay Solar. Call Karen at Clay Solar today and tell them that Coach Gibson sent you.
Jaguars Today.
You're settled into a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Hey, John, have you seen the exciting 2025 lineup at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique. It's a Cadillac lover's dream.
And the best part, over 100 new Cadillacs are in stock and ready for you to drive home today.
Plus, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and experience luxury and performance like never before.
Visit us today at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on these incredible vehicles. Your new Cadillac awaits.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Let's start with some cold, hard truth. Here's why Awaken 180 Weight Loss is your road to freedom. It's fast, it's easy, it's safe. You're not shooting chemicals into your body every week. You're eating real food every single day. You're not listening to an overpriced celebrity tell you about magical new food or asking you to count points or calories. You're just eating food and losing weight. It's that simple with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You know what else you're doing while losing weight with Awaken 180? Eliminating pain, fitting into clothes you haven't worn in years, sleeping through the night and waking up refreshed and energized and happy. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180, and Hacker lost more than 110 over the course of a year. It's a life-changing road to freedom. Doesn't matter what your goal weight is, Awaken 180 Weight Loss will get you there quickly and safely, a clear path to success without disappointment. Awaken 180. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The rumors and trades.
That is the game within the game.
The decisions and deadlines.
Our work is not done now.
The off-season overflows with surprising storylines.
I'm all ears.
Let AA Automotive and 1010XL guide you through the off-season.
June is Men's Health Month, and here's your reminder to be proactive and get screened for early detection at Ackerman Cancer Center. Many cancer instances are largely preventable and treatable. So take steps now to minimize your risk factors at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
If you're 35 to 75, you could get life insurance today. No medical exam needed. I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial. One call could protect your family for life. Call me today, 904-885-9566.
Since 1901, generations of skilled union workers have built the backbone of our community. Hospitals, schools, the buildings where you work. Every year, a new apprentice class of Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians is stepping up, trained, driven, and ready to do great things. They're not just building our city, they're building their future. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to become a member or contractor today.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do-it-yourself dirt-attracting carpet soaking machines. No. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, here we go. Jags off the field now, Tony, until training camp, mini camp in the rear view. Had the little BTJ scare on Tuesday last week, and he bounced back. Had sleeve gate go down, not sling, but sleeve gate with Trevor Lawrence. But overall, it feels like the Jags emerged out of their last mini camp, the last 3 days of practice, and all that pretty healthy.
And I saw that your wish came true. They didn't take a day off.
Yes. I never understand it. I mean, you get to a point, if Andy Reid wants to give the Chiefs a day off after being the Super Bowl 3 straight years, I'm not going to question his ways.
Right.
You know, you got a young team that hasn't done it yet. Take advantage of every opportunity, especially with a new head coach. So it seemed like a simple one, and they did not miss the layup. Let's just put it that way. So, all right, before we get to this SI piece, back to the lines we go. Stephen Melbourne wants to weigh in on the question of the day, asking which running back out of the top 4 on the Jags depth chart right now is likely to start the most games for the Jags in 2025. Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Plus, I was texting in helping Denmark with his skin reactions to grass.
Were you? Did you have some remedies for him or what?
Most of the time, you could just use certain aloes or whatever to kind of help with dry skin or things of that nature. They do the same thing. Could be a multitude of things that his skin's just reacting to. But my answer to the question, I think ETN probably gets day 1 start, but I also kind of wonder how they want to run the ball because we talked about it before. As a pure running back, Tank Bigsby's got the edge, but as an overall athlete to kind of do everything, we got to go with ETN. So I think ETN gets day 1 start, but if they want to ground and pound through the middle, I think they lean more towards Tank Bigsby. Okay.
So what do you think ultimately, if you can only vote for one, trying to guess what the Jags are going to want, who do you cast your vote for?
I'll go ETN.
Okay. Yeah, 55% right now going in the ETN direction. I think you can make the argument, Tone, based on what they see in him, that Bajal Tootin is that package of skills, particularly with the breakaway speed. Travis Etienne's not a slow player, and Steve, thank you for the call. He hasn't had those breakaway runs recently, though. You know, I mean, Bajal Tootin's a big play waiting to happen.
I think last year his long run was 22.
Yes.
ETN, yeah.
That's not picking it up in chunk. Now, Grant, I'm not saying it's all on ETN, right? No. We understand. Every time we mention this, we try to state the case that we're aware of all the contributing factors.
It's such a weird number
that.
For him, though. Right? Like, for ETN to only have a 22-yard run, that's crazy.
I agree.
Like, how does that even happen to a guy like that in a season? But That's what happened to him last year. It just was of the 3 years, it was clearly the worst.
No doubt.
For ETN.
And really, and just in terms of yards per carry, it was very similar to the year before that as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, same blocking. Bigsby got a lot more out of it last year.
Right.
And they obviously, invested in that position pretty heavily when you spend 2 draft picks on the running back position in the same year when you've got 2 incumbents coming back. That's a pretty big investment to make because most teams carry 3 max running backs. Not saying you can't carry 4.
Right.
And the whole thing with Travis Hunter potentially saving you a roster spot if you look at it that way. I don't know if the total number, that's the thing. You're putting a lot on Travis Hunter's plate. Let's say you're normally going to keep 7 corners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just picking that number, right? Do you keep 7 and he's one of the 7? Or do you keep 7 in addition to Travis Hunter because he's going to be pulling double duty and you don't know what the wear and tear is going to be like? It's going to be interesting to see what kind of decisions they make on the roster itself coming out of training camp. All right, let's dig into this SI piece here and see if you agree with the statements they make. A lot of surface stuff, but you're trying to cover a different team every single day. I get it. They're not going to write War and Peace on this. It's not going to be, a 1,000-page tome on this. What do you got, Dylan? What are you doing there?
No, just saying peace.
He's throwing the peace sign at me. I thought he was saying, is it War and Peace 2? The sequel? Have they done that yet? No, I don't think. All right.
I don't think Tolstoy wrote that.
Tolstoy,
no.
he left it alone after the first one.
Thought the first one was good enough.
Did you ever read War and Peace?
Yeah.
How long is War and Peace?
It's like 3,000 pages.
Is it that long? 3,000.
It's a long.
Like
book,
how do you make a book 3,000 pages? How thick does a book have to be?
It's a big book, yeah.
That's crazy, man. I used to think it was big. I get like the new Tom Clancy for Christmas back in the 90s. It'd be like 1,200 pages. I'd be like, oh, this is awesome.
It's about 1,500. I was a little off.
I was going to say 3,000. See, that book would be like, I don't know, a foot tall. Something like that when you laid it down.
It's a long one, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never read it. Tony has, but that's what everyone always refers to in terms of something very wordy. So, like myself, very wordy. What's at stake this season, says SI for the Jaguars? Trevor Lawrence's untapped potential. I don't disagree.
No.
Biggest thing, look, Travis Hunter, shiny new object, very exciting. I think he's going to do great things for the Jags. But he comes in, Tone, and, the range of options for him, he's a rookie. Right? Like maybe he does, I wouldn't say struggle, but maybe he doesn't play as many snaps as we anticipate right now. And he's just good on both sides of the ball. I think you're going to be left wanting more from Travis Hunter. I think you're going to feel in that scenario, which I think is like his worst case, as long as he stays healthy, that's going to be the floor for him going forward.
When the title of the article is the one that we agree with, then it's not a surprise that this would be the leading thing. And they're Liam Cohen charged with getting the most out of Trevor Lawrence.
Correct.
Like that's how they title the entire article. Right. So what's at stake this season? Talking about Trevor Lawrence and what they're going to be able to get out of him obviously should be. That's the story that's going to tell you how good or bad the season is do they get out of Trevor Lawrence what's there to be gotten out of Trevor Lawrence? Like, that's going to tell the story.
It's going to be the biggest story.
Yeah.
Now he's got to, we get it. He's got to have an offensive line to protect him to let him operate.
That's part of that story.
But it doesn't have to have the best offensive line.
Yeah.
Only one team gets that, right? And there are plenty of teams with effective offenses that their offensive line is good, but not necessarily dominant.
Yeah.
Because the quarterback
Cincinnati
generally
played in a Super Bowl with a bad offensive line.
Because the quarterback elevated above that.
No doubt.
They point out touchdown passes don't necessarily define a quarterback, but he's never gone over 25. And in comparison, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield all threw for more than 40 last season. Baker's previous high was 28.
Mm-hmm.
And he jumped that up to 41 under Liam Cohen.
Right.
That's what you're in part hoping for. I'm not saying Trevor has to get it up to high 30s, but in the 30s would be nice, especially if you're starting. If you start 15 games, I don't think 2 a week is too much to ask.
Right. And I think
or in that neighborhood.
The allure of a coach that got what he got out of Baker Mayfield, potentially getting that kind of thing out of Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
That's
well, I think his physical gifts are still undeniable.
Right. Like it's the potential of those two things being combined and what exactly that could unlock for everything else here for the football team. That's the big allure. of the 2025 season is what is Liam Cohen going to be able to get out of Trevor Lawrence? That's the thing.
They mentioned that the receiver duo Brian Thomas Jr. and Hunter will put plenty of pressure on opposing defenses. The offensive line will need to hold up for Lawrence to hit the deep ball consistently. I think this is a very fair opening position for SI to take on this. By the way, Gilbert Manzano is the one who is credited, I think, with this, although he gets contributions from a number of people in the piece. So this is not just because you hear SI. I don't think John Shipley wrote this out of hand. Biggest question going into training camp. What is the Jaguars' biggest question going into training camp? They are a myriad of questions. Like, to me, it's the offensive line.
Yeah, it's something on the offensive line.
How much better is the offensive line?
Yeah.
Okay? It could be, to men nationally, it's probably going to be, what are we going to see from Travis Hunter? Like, how much of this two-way experiment are we going to actually
That's going to be, whatever conversation is had about the Jaguars is going to be Hunter, Lawrence. Right?
Yes, they're not going to say, oh, what about Trevor's offensive line? We're concerned about that. We focus on that. Just like we don't focus on the Seahawks offensive line or Arizona's offensive line, typically. They're saying the biggest question heading into training camp, can Liam Cohen and the staff improve the defense? That's fair, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big question. That's the thing with the Jags. Okay, you think that's the biggest question? Yeah, the defense does need to be improved. But like you've already stated, if the offensive line doesn't get the job done, is Trevor Lawrence going to be able to get the job done? You can ask the same question basically as you did in the opening. The opening said, what's at stake? Trevor Lawrence's untapped potential, right? That's the number one thing on the line. You can also make that the biggest question heading into training camp. Will Trevor Lawrence realize his vast potential this year? And will we get a glimpse of that in these preseason games, in these joint practices or whatever you have, in the opportunities you have to see him? But what they say is it's unknown whether Cohen can oversee a defense or if he's more of a hands-off coach in this area. Yeah. I think he wants to be a coach for the whole team, but I think smart coaches delegate. Yeah. Right? I mean, Liam Cohen's got enough on his plate. Yes, he's going to run the team. Yes, Anthony Campanile answers to him.
He's calling the plays.
On offense. Right.
That's a lot to do.
Calling the plays, getting Trevor Lawrence up to speed, balancing Travis Hunter, and the desires of your coaching staff to pull him to their side of the ball. Hey, we could really use him this week. We're playing X. Hey, we could really use him this week. We're playing Y. Yeah, we could. That's why we drafted him, because we can use him on both, and we're planning to do that.
Yeah, it was probably the most interesting thing that happened last week was they finally had a day where he played both. Right. Like, just as look, we know this isn't full bore, gotta go, getting ready for a game or anything like that, but this is what this is going to feel like.
And a foreshadowing, as Liam Cohen said last week, that, you're going to see more of this in training. I mean, this is the beginning. You're going to. Exactly. You're not going to he's not going to get into the season and go Wednesday offense, Thursday defense, Friday is a walkthrough, and hope for the best. He's going to, I mean,
They got a plan.
Right.
And so finally having a day where he was doing both right at the end of it makes sense as this is what this is going to feel like, look like for him, right? That kind of thing. So,
Don't you think also I can see that, you play a certain style of team that doesn't have great, the top of the line receivers? I could see it saying, hey, we're going to focus you more on offense this week. You're going to mix in. Maybe you're just going to be in on third down and 7 or more situations.
I think you're not doing your job if you don't take advantage of those kind of things.
To have the opportunity to build in a little rest time for him when the opportunity presents itself. Because, as a lot of people have pointed out, I'm not the only one who's going to mention this. If you're Carolina, what are you going to do as soon as you see Travis Hunter on defense? I'm going to run my man on a 9 route.
Absolutely.
And make him run
him
every time he's out there on defense. And see if he's got that stamina at the NFL level. Personally, I don't think that's going to bother him. I think I'm more worried about getting wear and tear injuries, bumps and bruises, getting banged up. Even though Liam Cohen said he put on some good weight so far, some good muscle, he's still a skinny guy, right? I think as far as the cardio, the endurance, I think he's just one of those guys that can run all day.
I think he loves to run.
I just think that's him. He's the Energizer Bunny in that capacity. And now that doesn't mean though, Tone, if you have to run 50 yards in coverage down the field, everybody needs a break, right, on a play or two. But as a way to kind of wear his legs out, I think they're going to find his legs are fine. I mean, if you can, the running itself, he's doing a ton of that at the collegiate level, right? It's the pounding. It's the bigger, stronger, faster athlete that he's got to match up with. But in terms of the pure distance run, he's already done that.
Yeah.
And he's done it at altitude at a mile high.
Yeah.
He's doing it at sea level now.
When he's on the field on defense, you run him deep or you run it at him.
And see what happens.
Right. That's what you do. And I would expect that's exactly what Carolina
they're going to try to beat him up. Carolina and everybody else.
Absolutely.
Particularly early in the season.
Until he shows that that's not going to be effective against him. Right. Like when he can take that kind of thing away, then they can just run their offense or whatever else they want to do. But yeah, they're at least going to test it to see what happens with it.
All right. So finishing up that portion, can Cohen and the staff improve the defense? The new coaching staff is a handful of intriguing players, says SI. And they list Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, Foye Oluokun, Tyson Campbell, and veteran newcomer Jordan Lewis. I think they hit most of. I think Lloyd is intriguing. I don't have an issue with anything in this piece so far. The fact that you picked the defense, we could pick the offensive line. We could go double down on Trevor Lawrence. You could certainly say Travis Hunter in terms of storyline. They're all valid. They went with defense. And Devin Lloyd is an interesting guy. Like, PFF loves him. You know, we all look and go, he can't cover me. But, you know, will Anthony Campanile bring the best out of him? I do think there's talent there. Yeah. There's a first-round talent. Wasn't a shock that he went in the first round. He was projected to go in the first round. It was a surprise that the Jags package picks to move up and get him.
Yeah, it's hard to expect this far into his career that with the issues that Devin Lloyd has in his game that they're necessarily going to get resolved. Right? Like it's his issues with picking up where he needs to be in zone coverage. I don't know that that's going to get resolved.
I don't know that
I think he's a really good player against the run. He might be able to get a little bit better, but I think he's a player that if I was playing against the Jaguars, the reason I would be motioning before every snap on offense would be, are they in zone or man?
Right, to isolate him.
Is Devin Lloyd on the field? That's where the ball goes on this play. It's where he is supposed to be in coverage. That's what we're going to exploit right now on this play. I think he is a weak enough player in those areas where teams can do that kind of thing against Jacksonville, and it's been exploited here the last couple of years. It's why he got benched. You know, in his rookie season, it was that kind of thing. They had to get him off the field because it was too detrimental to the rest of what was happening on defense. He's been a little bit better, but not good enough to not still be a liability in some of those things right now. But I think he's a really good player against the run. He's athletic enough to do all these things. I hope he picks it up a little bit better because I think he can be just fine, but I don't think he's quite there yet.
All right, so far I think SI's done a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. Pretty fair. You know, you're not going to agree on every single point, but it's not like they wildly swung and missed on anything that they talked about so far for the Jags. So far, so good. Does it continue in that fashion? We'll continue to look through what they expect from the Jaguars or the questions they have for them, which is as important as anything heading into 2025. Halfway home, you're listening to Jaguars Today. Tony Smith is back in the fold. Dylan Denmark's here. I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Food. Sandwiches, subs, yum, yum. Anytime you're driving around Duval County, baby, get yourself some Dandy because it's going to be a long trip. Everything is so spread out, right? Well, swing into an area gate station. Takes you 2 minutes. Enjoy a little AC and then enjoy some delicious food from Dandy, knowing that it's a local company that seeks out the highest quality ingredients for all of their products, delivers fresh daily, keeps great variety and pricing. I mean, they have been an institution in Jacksonville now for 7 decades. The Thompson family started Dandy about 70 years ago, and they continue to thrive here on the First Coast. Sandwiches, subs, full breakfast menu, sliders, light lunchtime wraps, gourmet salads, protein packs, veggie trays, fruit cups, you name it. If it's convenient on the go, good food, Dandy's got it for you in an area gate station near you. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do, folks. Look for that Dandy label and go out and make yours a Dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. This is the place Jags fans turn to every day for news, analysis, and inside stuff. 1010XL. Home of the Jaguars.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Jaguars Today.
Maxed out on credit card, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. JJ Spawn powered through the tough course conditions to win the 2025 U.S. Open on Sunday. This is Spawn's first major win of his career at a course that consumed some of the game's biggest stars. He also did so in dramatic fashion as he closed the door with a birdie on the 18th hole with a long winding putt from 64 feet to secure the victory. The Orlando Magic have acquired Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 first-round picks and a first-round pick swap. Bane, who turns 27 later this month, averaged 19, 6, and 5 assists in 69 games for the Grizzlies this season. Currently 86 degrees at 10:58. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I gotta say, Tone, RJ Saunders dressed for success today, right? He's got the 15th anniversary. What do you call that? Like a cabana shirt?
Yeah.
Right? The 1010XL cabana shirt, which you got one of those, Denmark?
No,
Were you
sir.
around for that portion of
I
the
was here. I think
proceedings?
I was an intern.
You didn't get interns don't get the merch?
No, I think I just started working here when I got it.
We had the black cabana shirts a long time ago. I still get that one, but the white one, you can't wear it that much. It's got the 15 on it, it's like for the 15th anniversary. But he had the sweet white Jaguar Prowler hat. Yep. Right, that was the thing that set the whole ensemble off. Tony rocking the Sun Never Sets on Duval County shirt today, which is very nice. What do you got on in there, Denmark? Anything?
Baldwin Athletics, dry fit.
Baldwin Athletics.
7 years old.
I'm just wearing a nondescript gray golf shirt today. No affiliations notable. Travis Etienne pulling in 53.5% of today's vote in the question of the day presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Which running back will start the most games for the Jags in 2025? Tank Bigsby at 36%, a little over 9% for Bajal Tootin, 1.2%. I feel are trolling us, or they're really hardcore Syracuse fans and going with LaQuint Allen.
Yeah.
Is it? I've heard, like, at first we called him LaQuint. Then we went to LaQuint. And then I heard somebody say that he's going with LaQuint. I don't know.
I do not know. Yeah.
I don't do it out of anything but love and affection, LaQuint or LaQuint, whichever one. I'll get that nailed down. But I'm going with LaQuint for the moment.
Sure.
We all know who we're talking about.
Yeah, we know who we're talking about. I thought it was interesting with Trevor Lawrence last week when he spoke to the media. He was asked about some of the young guys and what they were, and he specifically mentioned the LaQuint Allen thing that we've all talked about since he got drafted here. That he's picking up the protections in the pass game like it's like putting on a glove.
Right.
Right? Like he's really good at that, and Trevor Lawrence is already seeing it, right? Like out on the field. It was kind of cool to see Trevor talk about specifically something we heard. This is the thing that he does exceptionally well, right? Coming into the league. I don't know what kind of doors that could potentially open up for his time to be expanded on the field, because I don't think Etienne's very good at that. I know Bigsby isn't very good at that. I don't know how good or bad Tootin is at that particular part of the game, right? But it does feel like it at least opens a door somewhere for Allen to get on the field in some situations where maybe we're not thinking about him being on the field
He could just be the, quote, third down back. Now, that doesn't mean you play every third down. It's third one, Tank Bigsby, you're going to get the carry.
It's a situational thing.
Right, but in terms of like when it's 3rd and 5 and you typically have your pass catching back on the field, you got to, keep the quarterback protected. I mean, those are the two things, Tone, we talk about all the time. I think I mentioned it last week when you're not here. Rookie running backs, pass protection, ball security. Boom. Two things that'll get you benched quicker than anything. It's pretty self-evident. I mean, a lot of guys can run well with the ball in their hands.
Yeah, and it's the two things that'll get you on the field.
Right, like on the converse,
right?
That,
like
sure.
your opportunities will expand if you are good in those areas. You protect the ball and you protect the quarterback. Like that, those two things will get your opportunities expanded if you are consistent in those kind of areas. We'll see if the opportunities do expand for Allen at some point.
All right, we'll get back to the SI 32 teams in 32 days Jaguar preview. But welcome back, Tony Smith. Take us around the league.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported yesterday that sources have told him the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have resumed communication regarding his contract and future with the team. Hendrickson did not attend the team's mandatory minicamp and is in line to face a $105,000 fine for missing those 3 days. He led the NFL in sacks last year after getting 17.5 sacks for the second season in a row. The New Orleans Saints have signed running back Cam Akers on a one-year deal following a tryout with the team on Friday, and the Indianapolis Colts will be adding now former team owner Jim Irsay, who passed away on May 21st, to the team's Ring of Honor during their Week 1 game this season.
All right, Tone, thank you very much. Jumping back into SI's piece, 32 teams in 32 days, the overview on the Jaguars. There are two first main categories. What's at stake? Trevor Lawrence's untapped potential. Biggest question going into training camp, they choose, can the coaching staff improve the defense? Next category, sources are saying doubts about Hunter playing both sides. This is where this one kind of loses me a little bit. This is quoting a former NFL head coach. That's all the information we have.
Okay.
No longer in the league, or at least no longer currently coaching. Quote about Travis Hunter. His heart is on offense. Is it? I mean, and if it gets too complicated, challenging and demanding, then that's where he'll end up. Defensively is where it will be toughest, both physically and mentally. Look, I understand there are a lot of things. There's this idea that you can just run a guy out there and say, run your pattern, and you don't have to worry as much about how he fits in with everybody else. But his heart's on offense?
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. I'm okay with one of the things they want to talk about, the doubts about Hunter being able to play both sides in the league and how much he can do. Like, I think those are fair conversations to have. I don't understand this anonymous quote basically at all. What? His heart's on offense based on what exactly?
He wants to play both. I mean, I get it. You know, offense ultimately pays better.
Yes.
Right? But he's a defensive back by upbringing, right? And and he's talked about how he thinks that's the easier side for him to adapt to. Now, that's him, and I get it. There are a lot of, I don't think anything about what he's doing is easy, and we shouldn't lose sight of that, right? Yeah. That to be, heck, what Brian Thomas Jr. did last year was not easy.
No.
Just to do it on one side of the ball, what he's going to be attempting to take on Travis Hunter is pretty high. But this is almost like saying, oh, if the going gets tough, he'll run to offense. If it gets too complicated, challenging, and demanding, he'll end up on offense where his heart is anyway.
Yeah, the quote doesn't make any sense to me. I do think reading through the whole article, I know we were talking about it before the show this morning, and I was like, well, where else do they talk about Hunter? Right, in the article. And I think to some degree, this is where they kind of shoehorned in the discussion we're going to have about Hunter.
Right, you got to get something in there.
Right, because it does make sense. You're going to talk about the Jags, you're going to talk about Trevor, and you're going to talk about Travis. Like, those are the things you're going to be talking about with the football team right now. This is where they kind of shoved in the Hunter thing. I'm fine with the having something in there about how's it going to work with a guy trying to play two ways in the NFL. Right? I'm fine with that. I think it's a really interesting story. I think that's why there's a lot of interest in what's happening with Travis Hunter in Jacksonville. They're going to try to play him both ways because he wants to play both ways. What exactly is that going to look like? How effective can it be? That's fine. I don't understand the angle on it being an anonymous former coach saying his heart's on offense.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
What do you know about Travis Hunter that...
Yeah. Just have a conversation
kind of
about
flies in the face.
Right, what's going to happen with Travis Hunter. That's enough.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need that.
It makes it right. Like, oh, well, he really wants to play wide receiver, and he'll try defensive back, but if things get too complicated, he'll just fall back on what he wants to do anyway. No, he's made it very clear how he sees himself. He's a guy who wants to be out there on every snap.
Yep.
You know, not just dabbling on both sides. Anyway, I don't want to make too much out of it, but I just thought that was a little kind of strange the way that was characterized there. And, you know, many people feel that, you know, with defense, so much is intertwined, right? Like, I've got this guy up until I don't, right? And I'm going to give him off if we're playing zone, and everything's got to be coordinated. Whereas my route on the offensive side impacts the other guys, but I don't have to necessarily know exactly where everybody is on every route, right? If they're telling me to run a go route, to clear out, that's going to help those guys. I know what a go route is. I know what a slant is.
do it.
I know what a crossing route is. I'm going to do whatever. But that's like basically knowing the route tree. I think the more you get into it, the better player, like the great receivers in the game, understand everything that's happening around them. I truly believe that they, like, I think Jamar Chase knows what T. Higgins is doing and how that impacts him. And there are some subtleties in that. It's not just, I'm just running my route, but I think there's more of that. Now, you can argue as well, defense, just go cover this guy. But how often do you really do that in the NFL? Not that often, where it's just strictly follow this guy all over the field. So I do understand the complicated nature of it. But again, for him, he may love playing offense. I just think that we've seen him more on offense or heard more about him on offense early on because that's where they feel he needed the work, to learn. Like, he is, go guard that guy. He's got a lot of that in him already. Mm-hmm. Like, I can go lock guys up. How I integrate into an overall defensive scheme, we'll find out with Anthony Campanile and all the coaching staff working him in. And I do think, as we talked about in the first hour, Tony, it's going to be fascinating to see how do teams game plan to try to wear him out early on. And does that take them out of their game to some degree, though, as well? Travis Hunter's not always going to be matched up on a guy you can just run a go route with. Not that type of player. So we'll see. There's some degree that the defense can dictate to you, but I think the Jags' ideas, they're going to be dictating a lot more with Travis Hunter than vice versa. All right, when we come back, who's the breakout candidate X factor for the Jaguars this year, according to Sports Illustrated, and where does the combo of Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence rank among the best quarterback coaching combos in the league? Who's the fantasy pick to keep an eye on, and what's the best bet on the Jaguars this year? All these things covered by SI. We'll get into that when we come back on the other side. Your question of the day, presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Which running back starts the most game for the Jags in 2025? Allen, Bigsby, ETN, Tootin, listed alphabetically. You can go vote at MD_1010XL. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
What's going on here? What is this?
It's 1010XL.
We can't quite understand you.
1010XL.
With Lee and Kate's glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
You tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. Don't miss Renewal by Anderson's 30th anniversary sale. Buy one window or patio door and get one 30% off. Financing options are available and this offer expires June 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
It's a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com.
So you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is thrilled to announce you can get all of their flavors and original vodka at PJ Liquors in St. Augustine. PJ Liquors, since 1999, has been serving up summertime fun. Now enjoy Brackish Vodka, the #1 local vodka in North Florida. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka, and you can find their 9 flavors at PJ Liquors. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is, proud partner of the Jaguars.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security, those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes, nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, COYLE, jacks.com.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline, and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry-fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Beaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
How much do the performers for Super Bowl halftime shows get paid?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Super Bowl performers are not paid for their shows, but production costs are covered by the NFL, which could go as high as $15 million.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Man, I got a 1989 tour shirt from NXS, Tony, from back in the day. I got a few tour shirts from back in the day that are absolutely falling apart. I got another one. I guess I bought a lot of tour shirts in 89. I got a Who shirt from 89 that I feel like if not even a brisk wind blows, it may just disintegrate right off my body every time I wear it. It's one of those state of affairs. But all right, getting into today, SI's breakdown, 32 teams in 32 days. They chose today to highlight your Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going through what they think about the team, some of the big questions. Tony, breakout player or candidate X factor for the Jags. I know you've looked through this. Trayvon Walker is who they've selected. It's pretty good. I mean, you could argue he's broken out to some degree, right? But I think what they're saying is, does he have that stratospheric season in him? 10 sacks is good, but is he a guy that is bending the offense's will to him? Does he have the gravitational pull down and down out to make it a better environment for Josh Allen? We feel like Josh Allen's 17.5 sacks a couple of years ago probably benefited Trayvon more, right? He's drawn more attention. Did Trayvon have that reverse effect? Here's what they said. Walker has been judged unfairly because he's often compared to Aiden Hutchinson, the player drafted right after Walker became the number 1 pick in the 2022 draft. Still, some of the criticism is fair because he needs to find another gear in his game to be a dominant playmaker, which is expected from a former top pick. With Hutchinson, it's easy to see the impact he makes, even on plays it doesn't end in sacks. Walker's made the most of his opportunities playing next to Hines Allen. Suggestion is he's got to become more of that drawing card. I don't think that's unfair. I feel like Trayvon is a continuously ascending player, has been. He's been on a great track so far in his career, but I think he's got more left in him. I think he's got, we could see a 4 to 5 year run if he stays here in Jacksonville where, he is a 12-plus sack guy for that kind. I think he's got that kind of talent provided he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think I don't know how long the list would be when you're in that kind of category, right? Breakout player / X factor, right? Breakout player, how long is the list really for the football team? Josh Hines Allen has already had a breakout season, so he may fit more the X factor category, right, for the football team than he would breakout necessarily. And Walker, they're talking more breakout, it feels like here, than necessarily X factor. I think he is a bit of an X factor for what both those guys excelling again along the defensive front, what that unlocks for everything else that's happening here. But I don't think the list is very long necessarily on the football team.
Of who could fit this category?
Right.
I think you could say Brenton Strange if you wanted to, if you thought he was going to have that kind of receiving impact this year. I think it's tough to gauge what is an offensive lineman breakout. At the end of the year, you tell us he played like a Pro Bowler, we'll believe you, but it's tough to see that week to week. I think you could look at ETN and say, well, he's already been a 1,000-yard rusher. He's been a 10-touchdown guy. Does he qualify?
Bit of an X factor more than a breakout guy.
Could Bigsby be that? Yes. I think he could fit that. Or I think it's you also probably are looking to leave out rookies in this category, right?
For sure.
Because clearly Travis Hunter could be this guy.
Right. And the only other guy I would think about would be like a Tyson Campbell.
I think Devin Lloyd could be, if you think that new defense coordinator who comes from being a linebackers coach brings out the best in this guy.
Yeah, Lloyd's a weird one statistically, right? Trying to figure out what exactly a breakout would look like for him.
I think for me and for a lot of people would be a little bit more in the pass rush department, right? Get a few more opportunities, maybe be that guy with 4 or 5 sacks.
Yeah.
And, be the clear, don't be a liability in coverage and be the clear-cut second leading tackler on this team because Foye figures to be the leading tackler.
Because Lloyd is a guy, and we don't look at these numbers very often, but his first 3 years in the league, 115, 127, 113. Those are his combined tackle numbers, his first 3 years. Like, he's been around the football a ton in his first 3 seasons.
Right, but if you look, you're talking about, that was Devin Lloyd's numbers, right? I'm sure Foye was like in the 180 range on
at least
some of these seasons.
Of those,
right. So, that's good, but it's not, top 5 in the league level production. No. As long as you've got Foye getting to those ball carriers, your opportunities be somewhat limited.
Last year in Atlanta in 2021, he led the league with 192 tackles.
Yeah, there you go.
2022, he led the league with 184, then 173 and 108 last year. Now he didn't play the 4 games due to injury.
Right.
So he
admitted he played hurt the whole year.
Yeah. So you're probably going to add 50 probably to that number.
I could see him. 150 if to 160 is healthy, range. I think he's in that 170 range.
Yeah.
Again, 170 plus. Either way, we're getting a little down the rabbit hole here. Head coach quarterback tandem ranking for them. They admit it's tough. What is Liam Cohen going to be as a first-time head coach?
Right.
Good offensive mind. Trevor Lawrence has talent, but he hasn't always put it together. He's had stretches where he's played like an elite quarterback. They rank him 23rd. That to me, that's fine. right?
Sure.
Don't rank them 32nd or 31st. They don't deserve top 12 mention. That's fine. With that's one of those. Let's let it see how it plays out.
Yeah.
There's really.
I'm fine with them being there for now.
All right. This is the one you and I discussed before the show. This is a little bit off the rails. SI, by the way, some of the worst fantasy coverage you'll find out there. But Brenton Strange as their fantasy pick. Oh, trust me. I know the guys who work at SI.
Yeah.
Dylan.
I gotcha.
Trust me when I say this. The Jags passing game will look new this season as the team traded Christian Kirk and cut Gabe Davis and Evan Ingram. One of the players who figures to benefit is Strange, who's projected to be a starter.
Correct.
Okay? Sure. Yes.
All of that is correct.
All that is correct. He showed some flashes of upside in his second NFL season. Lawrence likes to throw to his tight ends. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Certainly like to throw to Evan Ingram. New offense, though, that doesn't seem to feature the tight end when the wide receivers are healthy. Then he might not be a top 12 fantasy option, but Strange has some deep sleeper appeal in the late rounds. That's your fantasy pick for the Jags? Let's get a tight end who we're probably not going to start, and we'll get him in the late rounds and because he had some room for growth here. How about the guy who's going in the first round of every fantasy draft, Brian Thomas Jr.? I mean, this is a layup. I know you don't want to be Mr. Obvious here. Then take a chance.
You haven't talked about him yet in the whole story.
Set your mark on which running back you think is the breakout, because that's value. If you're telling me that this guy, you're just going to get him in the late rounds and he's probably not going to be a top 12 tight end. So how many people are rostering that guy, outside of Jacksonville FLA, right? Are you rostering two tight ends in a lot of fantasy leagues?
You're going to draft him as your second tight end.
If you draft two tight ends.
Upside. Yeah, right. Okay.
It's weird. Why not Travis Hunter as your fantasy? Why not De'Ami Brown, who I think could? If I had De'Ami Brown and Brenton Strange on a fantasy roster, I think I'd end up starting De'Ami Brown more than I would Brenton Strange. Because when your wide receivers are on buys and things like that, and if you get an injury. They signed him. At the time, he was looked at as the number 2 wide receiver on this roster until they were in position to get Travis Hunter. Now, who knows? Yeah. Had they not moved up and they drafted Ashton Genty, maybe they're drafting a receiver in the 4th round, but is that that would have been much more of a battle with him and De'Ami Brown. I just think it's weird that Brenton Strange, you're telling us he's the fantasy pick for this team, but he's probably not a top 12 option. You can get him in the late rounds.
Yeah.
What?
Like, even we've looked at this specifically. I can remember a couple weeks ago, Cade Otton, I think, finished 13th among tight ends last year, and that was with the hot run of a month where they had to feature him every week. That was with him being featured for a month, and when he was featured, you wanted him in the lineup. Like, you wanted to find a way to get Cade Otton into the lineup when they were going to feature him.
For 3 weeks.
Right, for that little run.
It was great.
That was enough to get him to 13th among tight ends. So Brenton Strange, I think that's the high, right? Like, that's the peak of what he'll be from a fantasy perspective this year is they'll need to feature him for a month, and he's a good enough player that when they do, he'll be fine.
Right. Will he have more than the 411 yards he had last year? Yeah. Yeah, I think he will, but that doesn't necessarily move the needle.
And he'll wind up somewhere in that, 15 range.
You're going to get plenty of weeks where he probably has 3 catches for 40 yards.
Right, and it's odd in this story specifically. Like I mentioned when they brought up, the Travis Hunter thing.
Right, you got to get him in at some point,
We got to get him in.
Yeah.
Why isn't there we got to get Brian Thomas Jr. in here somewhere, right? This is where he belongs, is the fantasy pick.
I mean, it's clear, right? I mean, he's a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. And again, it's not the most important thing in the world.
No.
It's just but it does have some logical consistency
you
in
might
the
be
argument.
adding something to some conversation about a player that it actually matters to have a conversation about, right? Like directly at this moment would be Brian Thomas Jr.
I could see Trevor Lawrence being in this category and saying,
Me
hey,
too.
look, he's got Brian Thomas Jr., he's got Travis Hunter,
Sure.
he's got De'Ami Brown, he does have Brenton Strange. He's got a whole collection of backs. He's got more bodies up front, so you hope for an improved offensive line. And
absolutely,
you got a play caller now who knows what the hell he's doing, hopefully, and is going to bring out the best in him. I could see that.
Yeah.
And Trev making a run as a top 12 fantasy quarterback. It's just odd that you're going to say that's the fantasy pick, and then you downplay what you expect him to do.
Yeah.
Like, why? When there are going to be plenty of guys that are. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. is
much more
a star in fantasy already.
There are much more interesting fantasy conversations to have about the Jaguars than Brenton Strange.
Right, and again, it's this one paragraph, but what has been an otherwise pretty close to spot on piece, I feel. That one just kind of stood out to me a little bit. All right, finally, when we come back, bottom line it. What does Sports Illustrated think in terms of win-loss for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and how would you take advantage of that on the markets, if you know what I'm talking about, all right? We'll get into that when we come back. Question of the day, recap as well. We'll give you our vote on today's poll. Which running back will start the most games for the Jags in 2025? Travis Etienne's been holding it down all morning. Still time for you to vote if you haven't already at MD_1010XL on the Twitter or X platform. Is it Etienne? Is it Bigsby? Is it LaKent Allen? Is it Bajal Tootin? Cast your vote and let your voice be heard on that as we come back to wrap up Jaguars Today. Straight ahead on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Each summer, 1010XL personalities get ready for another football season.
You have volunteered for the most intensive training known to man.
1010XL, taking Jacksonville sports talk seriously.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pool. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, you have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits. You have the right to choose your own doctor, too. And I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation, the auto accident experts.
Jaguars Today.
It's a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Power bill just went up again? Why keep paying more? Clay Solar can wipe that electric bill out. Right now, they'll cover your first 6 months' payments. Visit claysolar.com today to schedule your free consultation. claysolar.com.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's most interesting options. 1010XL's Media Mogul Hicken here. Watch for Musing with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook. Made possible by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it. And send them a Q and floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at QFlowers.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play? better results.
I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do-it-yourself dirt-attracting carpet soaking machines. No. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
This is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a godly example. Every day, we're setting an example in our words and actions. And many times, we can act one way in one setting and then totally different in another setting. My encouragement for you is to not send out mixed messages. God is depending on you to set the example in people's lives. You don't know, but you may be the only Bible that someone ever sees today.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Ironically, Tony, at least to me, the cool down on a day where a family movie night is going to be Heat. Which is a phenomenal movie. I love
amazing.
Heat.
Yeah.
I love Heat. My son and I don't see eye to eye in the movies very often. We just don't, for whatever. Like, I saw the new Mission Impossible. Don't know if you've seen it.
Not yet.
Enjoyed the hell out of it.
Right.
And he's picking apart plot hole motivation. I'm like, it's a spectacle, right? Like, it depends what you're going in for. But Heat, man.
Heat's Heat.
De Niro, Pacino, Val Kilmer's excellent. Tom Sizemore. There's a bunch of good. I love a good heist movie, good bank robbery movie, and of course De Niro and Pacino. Is it true? The legend is they never were on set or in at the same time, because they had that scene where they're sitting in a diner, across from each other, but it's shot like they show one, then they cut to the other guy. They never show them in a 2-shot with both of them on the screen. And
I don't know.
I'd always heard that they filmed it separately, which I don't know why that would be, but it's not like they needed to be on the set together for Godfather 2, right? Because De Niro played the young Vito and didn't interact with Pacino.
Like, I think that might have been the first time they had been on screen together.
But that's the thing. I don't know if they're on screen together in the same scene. Like The Irishman, I think, right? You got plenty of that going on. But anyway, so it's a good movie. I'm going to watch that tonight. I'm excited about that. He also, my son's second pick was Sicario, which I also love.
Sicario is awesome.
Right? I love Sicario, and I love the sequel, Day of the Soledad, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Soledad.
Whatever that means. All right. Best bet for the Jaguars, according to SI this year, Tone, is take the over on 7.5 wins. So I like that. This is from Ian McMillan. I don't know who that is, but we like you now, Ian. Everybody had a different piece of this thing, a bunch of different SI writers. Interestingly enough, Shipley didn't. These are like I think that they're taking more the national writers and everyone's perspective. Then that way you don't have the beat guy kind of influencing things too much. I don't know. You would think they'd lean into that knowledge, but whatever. Right. He writes, I might be the last Jaguars believer left north of Florida, but there's no question that Lawrence now is the best offensive coach he's had in his NFL career. We're definitely banking on that, aren't we? It's like Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. They scored 40-plus in that Super Bowl. We thought he was pretty hot stuff as far as an offensive play call. And that first year
was great. Yeah.
Got a great performance out of Trevor, right? Got a great performance out of the team. So we're definitely counting on that to be a thing. Continuing, the Jags have the pieces on both sides of the ball, and I'm convinced that if they can put things together, they can contend in the AFC South. Don't be surprised if Travis Hunter makes enough of an impact on both sides of the ball to lift the Jags to at least 8 wins this year. So, well, that's what you're saying is the best bet here. And I think it's like, you could take the over-under on the win total or probably a couple other things. I don't think they're getting too esoteric with the bets and all that stuff. But, all right, because I think that's where we all were, right? At least on this show, 8 or 9 win.
Somewhere in there.
Range.
Yeah.
As we acknowledge, the upside, probably 12-ish, something like that. Are you going to hit the upside? Well, the downside's probably another 4 or 5 win season, right? Which, let's hope that's not the case. But hard to ignore. I mean, with this team's history, we thought they had it aligned pretty well. I am excited about the pieces they have. I am excited about Travis Hunter. And so much of it depends on questions that can't be answered until we get into the season, like the lines of scrimmage, both lines of scrimmage. I think the pass rush is going to be pretty good, but are we setting ourselves up, Tone, for Jaguar goodness, right? And when we hear, defense dominated for a couple of days, why are they dominating? Is it the addition of Emmanuel Ogbah? Is it Eric Armstead moving back inside? Is it second-year development of Mason Smith? All these things are possible. But is it also an unsettled offensive line? And, in a condition where there's no full pads and you're not doing full blocking, defense does have the advantage there. But I like, overall, throw out the fantasy pick because who cares, right?
Sure.
I'm pretty happy with what SI put together. I think it was pretty thoughtful, pretty informed. On the Jags, don't agree exactly with everything they said, but they didn't.
That's okay.
They didn't stray too far into crazy territory.
The things where I didn't agree with them, it wasn't like I thought they were so far off the mark that it's not worth having the conversation about it.
Sure.
Right? Like, it's okay.
It's the biggest question defense. You can make that argument.
Right. You can at least have a discussion about what I might have done differently than they did in the article, and I think we did as we were going through it. I did go and look at a couple of other teams they've done.
Okay.
I just was interested in was the best bet for all the teams just the over-under on wins?
Okay.
Like, is that basically – no, that isn't exactly what was happening. I only looked at 2 other teams, but I did see with one of them he just took the over-under on wins and went over again. But with the Falcons I'm looking at right now, the best bet was Falcons to make the playoffs at plus 155, right?
Okay.
So it's not necessarily just betting the over-under on the wins. They're in the best bet. I was curious how much deeper they might go, with that kind of thing. But other than that, really, the Brenton Strange thing was odd. Dab it in there.
That's so, just who cares, right? Who's in the fantasy spotlight?
The way that they chose to kind of put in the Hunter conversation was a little bit odd.
I don't even blame them. They're looking for a juicy quote. And if they actually have a former NFL head coach saying this about Hunter, I can understand wanting to include it. I have more issue with the quote itself than I do them including it
in
the
all.
piece.
Like, talking about Hunter, that's fine.
Right, but even the talking about him
playing
in a
both
way
sides, how much it's going to happen, that's fine.
That his heart's on offense. I don't have to agree with that, but his heart's on offense, and if the going gets tough, he's just going to choose to play offense.
Right. I have no sense of that being.
It's a juicy quote, though, right? Somebody's sticking that out there, but I don't know. Anyway, good piece. We went through a lot of it. You can go check it out yourself over at SI.com and compare that to the best and worst case scenarios that we went through earlier at CBS Sports as well. All right, let's get to today's Chat and Sandy real estate question of the day. Which running back will start the most games for the Jags in 2025? Dylan Denmark.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
This is not as easy to me as the numbers would indicate, right? This is most people go to Travis Etienne. If it's not him, it's Tank Bigsby. I do think Bajal Tutin has a chance here to be that guy, but I think he's behind the 8 ball because I don't think it's the likeliest that he starts to open the season. So he's got to go the Bucky Irving path and overtake prior to midseason to have a chance to start the majority of games for this football team. Tone, I'm actually going to go with Tank Bigsby here. I think that there's in a fair battle, there's a great chance that Tank Bigsby beats out Travis Etienne. I'm basing this on the fact that he was much more effective behind the same offensive line last year, that he does have that rugged between the tackle style that is more of an impose your will on the other team. It's great when you get a breakaway run, right? And if you can get Devon Achane out on the edge, if you're Miami, and he busts one, that's fantastic. But down in, down out, you know, you got to worry about that speed, but you're not taking a physical pounding from that guy. I don't know if you are from Travis Etienne. I think Tank Bigsby is the one guy that can deliver that. If he can hang on to the football, I think he has a great chance to as well be your goal line back. But we're talking about starting the most games for the Jags in 2025. I think Travis Etienne comes in with a foot in the starting position heading into training camp, but I don't think it's a firm 2 feet. I've got a grasp of this job. Why would it be that way? Right? Well, I mean, where there are very few incumbents to me that are absolutely guaranteed, and we can name most of them: Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon, Foye, Tyson Campbell, that have zero question in my mind that they'll be the starter. I don't feel that way about Travis Etienne. I don't think he's a bad bet. I'd love to see what the odds were on these, and that would influence which way you go to. But I'll join the 35.4% that went with Tank Bigsby today. What about you?
I think that in games especially, it's going to be a hot hand thing, right? And trying to determine what that would be. I was going back to look at what happened in Tampa last year, and this number actually surprised me when I pulled it up. Rashad White started 15 of the 16 games he played in last year for the Buccaneers. So even when it was getting more and more split up, right, in that Tampa Bay backfield, he was at least the guy that was getting the start. You know, in most of those situations, that's why I would lean towards Etienne.
Sure.
Right. And this thing, I think within games, it's going to feel different week to week as far as who's going to be featured, because I think they will get, especially these top 3 guys, some touches early in games to see who's got it today. For what we need today, who's the guy that's going to be carrying us today? And I think they're willing for all 3 of them to be that guy on any given day. But I think Etienne will be the front of that line more often than anybody else.
That's fair. I do as well wonder, as we talked about in hour number 1, about roster composition. And how many are you going to give 4 spots, or are you going to risk Ken Allen, who clearly you didn't, I mean, there were some interesting pass rushers on the board. They were like, no, we got to get this guy. Can't let him get to undrafted free agency and risk losing him to somebody else. Same way, I don't think they're going to want to try to risk him on the practice squad. So are you going to carry 4 is what it comes down to. And what are their roles, and how many of those guys are going to be active on game day? And you drafted 2 of them, this regime. I bet you make a good point. Bucky Irving technically started 3 games, right? They may have both started together at a point, but he was definitely the guy in the second half.
Yeah.
So I could see that being Tootin being the guy, like the most dangerous weapon, and not necessarily starting the most games. Dylan Denmark, how'd you vote?
Yeah, I'm going to say Etienne. I think Etienne's going to edge out either Tank or Tootin, because I think he's going to get the start for at least the first 10 weeks of the season. And again, the start just means you just have to play the first snap.
Sure.
I will say this, too, to add to what y'all talking about with the running back group and saying, you know, they got 2 guys. This is a head coach, and Tony Baselli as well, but specifically Liam Cohen, who wanted to go and trade up for RJ Harvey. So it's not, and he's calling plays. So it's not like it's one of those things where, and I'm not saying to bash, you know, Etienne and Tank, but he's looking at these guys that were on the board and saying, you know, we could have
we got
guy.
upgrade.
Yeah, we could upgrade, and, you know, we could have a guy that could be featured right now.
That's a good point. And look, the Ashton Genty thing is a little bit different because he's in a class by himself, right? At least in this running back class. But still, you don't think we'd be talking about who's getting cut if Ashton Genty had been the draft pick here, Tone. And you're right. RJ Harvey was kind of the apple of their eye. And once he was taken at pick 60, they felt, all right, we can move out of 70 and drop back and ended up accumulating a couple of extra thirds. Etienne getting 54.7% of the vote right now, about 300 votes on this one. Bigsby, 35%, 9.3 going with Tootin, and 1% holding out hope that Kent Allen is going to start the most games for the Jags at running back this year. All right, we're done today. Tony Smith is back, and we're happy about that, but we're also happy that helmets and heels this year.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Hello, Lauren Brooks.
Hello, Mike Dempsey. Welcome back, Tony Smith.
Thank you.
And Dylan, I'm sorry that you're allergic to grass.
I know, right? I mean, tough state to be allergic to grass in.
Very tough, especially if you're going to cut grass. So, yeah, they do have allergy tests that can specifically identify what you are allergic to. So you may want to do one of those.
Prepare to get poked.
And do you agree with me or not? Like, I'm allergic to pollen. Who the hell's not? It flies up your nose like you're going to sneeze, right? I mean, it's just like...
I've never met anyone who's like, I love pollen.
Right? Smell that pollen.
I make a whole candle full of pollen. I love it. I bring it inside my house. Yeah, no, everyone hates pollen. But some of us are more allergic to things than others. I had a cat growing up, and then after my cat died, the next time I was around a cat, you would have thought that I was like injected with chemicals or something. It looked like my eyes were gonna like bug out of my head. I couldn't breathe at all, and I was never allergic to cats. But now, as at this stage in my or this stage in my life, I am deathly allergic to cats. So there you have it.
I'm allergic to the sun on my left forearm. Okay, this is a true thing. After I was playing golf, and I'd notice right down my forearm, I get a rash. And I associated with being out in the sun.
Right.
I went to the doctor. He's like, you're very observant. It's called brachial. It's like the brachial nerve or whatever. He's like, and it has a name for the specific condition where the sun gives you a rash on your forearm. I'm like, what in the world? How specific is that?
So that's why you always have long sleeves on.
It's often why. Plus, I've had skin cancer a couple of times. Yeah. But I don't get it on my right arm. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's like that specific. That specific.
Man, the human body.
Isn't it crazy?
It is crazy.
Oh, lucky me that's what I got. Right?
I mean, I'm sure we could spend another 2 hours just talking about the different ailments.
I didn't get a 40-inch vertical, Tony. I got allergic to the sun on my left forearm. I won the lottery.
I have really thin retinas, so when I was in my 20s, I had to have multiple eye surgeries.
Oh, dear.
And and I have no peripheral vision in my right eye whatsoever on either side.
Now we know how to sneak up on Lauren.
Correct.
All right, what's coming up today on the show?
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
We've done enough.
I promise you that. We are going to do stock up, stock down on your Jacksonville Jaguars now that the off-season workouts are complete.
I like it.
Yeah, and then we'll go around the sports world as well. There's so much happening. When people say like it's a downtime in sports, I'm always like, I don't think you're paying attention. Whether it's college baseball, sorry, Tony. Whether certainly it's the U.S. Open, you've got basketball, you've got hockey.
I get it. Not everybody's into everything, but if you
Major League Baseball,
like
I love
a little, right? But if you're just a football person, I get it.
If you're just a football person, now is the time to study your fantasy football guides. I saw an article that said like 7 players that after OTAs, their stock has rapidly increased when it comes to fantasy football.
Well, you know what it is? It's not that their stock actually it's their perception.
Sure.
Increases.
Perception is reality.
That is stock, right? And it doesn't mean they're all of a sudden going to be more productive. It's just that the market is more interested in them. Anyhow.
Yeah. What's interesting is Travis Etienne was on that list.
I guess because Liam Cohen said, I don't know where. Right. He didn't say, by the way, Etienne's my guy. He's my featured back. No. He just said, I just don't know where because we haven't been shopping him.
Yeah. Which I think your question of the day today might be the hardest one you've ever asked.
I think there's a range of outcomes for Travis Etienne, a big range. I think he could start 17 games for the Jags. I think he could be gone. I think he could be gone in midseason. I think he could be a off the bench guy. I think he could be a third down back. I think there are a lot of possibilities for him. How would you have voted?
I think Tank Bigsby, based off of the limited action I've seen at practice so far, and the only thing that had me not going with Bashal Tootin is the fumble, even though I know that only happened one time.
Right.
But that has really
Tony
stuck
made
out
a great
to me.
point, though, too. Bucky Irving was the guy, but he wasn't the starter.
Right. He only started 3 games last year.
Right. So he was the guy, like, okay, it's kind of ceremonial with Rashad White. Thank you. Escape me.
Exactly. That's why
I don't know what I was going to say there.
Whenever we talk about stuff, I don't worry as much about who the starting person is, whatever player position we're talking about. I worry more about the person who's going to get the most snaps. Like Travis Hunter's not going to start at corner, but by the end of the season, does he end up with more snaps other than Tyson Campbell?
He's not going to start at corner.
I don't think he's going to, at least in September, but that could change. We'll see based off of training camp. He looks really good at
Do you
corner.
not just plant your flag if you're Liam Cohen, right? Game one, even if he's not out there the full time, just start him.
I like
Start
it.
him. Start him on both.
Yeah, the only person who would not like that is, well, a couple people, Jarian Jones and Buster Brown, who have
Hey, may
certainly
the best
hard.
man win. Like,
Of
competition
course.
brings out the best. All right, we'll have a great show.
Boy,
Plenty
thank
to talk
you.
about.
We will do our best.
Tell JJ Spawn to save it for the Ryder Cup now.
I'll
all right?
do it.
Gotta have that for the Ryder Cup.
That was one insane putt. Oh, my God.
It really was, but he got if a pro gets a guy putting if he sees the line and the speed, he's gonna lag that inside 3 feet all day.
Yeah.
Even from 64 feet. And so I don't think he makes it if Hovland doesn't have the putt right before him, but he probably wins it anyway. So
I think it was his time, right? Like, we saw his collapse here
I
with
was
the players
happy
on
for him.
Monday.
Yeah.
It was his time.
I was happy for him. Wish now in hindsight he'd beaten the big brat at the players too. You know, that would have been nice. You know? Throw another club there, Rory. Smash another tee box.
Talk about a collapse.
All right, LB, have a great show.
Thank you so much.
Tony, welcome back. Thank you. Glad to have you back in. Dylan, Denmark. 4 more days, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Then it's vacay time. All right, that'll do it for Jaguars today. Stick around. Helmets and Heels is coming up next. We're back tomorrow from 10 to noon on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Maxwell House Coffee